This is a BMA Spotlight. On the ballot this year, voters will determine whether future voters will be required to have a special voter ID to vote. In an effort to mobilize affected communities, Twin City leaders called on Minnesota's hip-hop artists to gather, discuss, and create a music message to reach youth about the importance of their vote now and in the future. This is a special BMA look inside of this creative effort.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming through. The reason that we called everybody here, State Rep Bobby Joe, if you'd like to step up and just tell everybody what you called this together for. Well, you tapped me and asked me to get the word out, but what was the initial idea when you came through?
You know, a guy middle-aged talking to a younger person who's in hip-hop culture, you know, that's harder to do than for a young person to think creatively about how do you talk to your peers about this important topic of voting, you know, and not just voting, but also this whole amendment that they're trying to do, which is voter ID, so that you got to produce an ID in order to go vote when voting is a right and not a privilege. And how so many of our people don't always have IDs. And this is a confusing topic when you just think in terms of, you know, does the picture and the address have to match your current address? And what is this whole thing about provisional ballot? So the whole idea is you having an opportunity to stretch and to think creatively around how do you use your medium by which to communicate to our people. And when I say our people, I mean young people. Because when you think in terms of this notion of voting, how it impacts all of us, because if you get the wrong people in office, bad things can happen.
This voter ID passes, then that puts a clamp on the gang of things. And as you said, you know, in terms of the right, this is a right. You know, we already earned it. You know, and now there's tons of hurdles that are unnecessary, as well as how it's going to affect the native population and their sovereignty. You know, so a lot of things are at stake. And then in terms of connecting to the youth, it's important because, again, this is going to hit you a lot harder, you know. And so it's also important to be able to connect with people who are usually not a part of the overall process and begin to politicize us and to get us to understand how these are shaping the meanings of how it's been impacted. And really, when we think of hip-hop culture, this is what hip-hop culture is originally designed to do. But when you're in a capitalist society, things are always going to be co-opted. So this is an opportunity for us to reclaim one of the natural rights of the voice of people who are usually not included in the overall process.
I mean, I think that the big part of this is going to be social media, only because, frankly, that is how a lot of people in our age group and younger are consuming information right now. If you say that we need to make something that rivals the 2 Chainz record, I would say that we need to be working on our social media in a way that rivals 2 Chainz. So all of us as artists and individuals, but also as a group, need to be making sure that we're coordinating our efforts to get the behind-the-scenes footage out there, to get, if we're doing a music video, to get the music video out there, to obviously get the songs out there. And if you have Connects Radio, go to the radio.
I think all the people that are gathered here today are professional people. I've seen most of you guys, especially Toki, Shauna, Bida. A lot of us, the ideas and stuff that you guys are given, write them down even at home. That way the process of the stuff that we're going to start doing, we can start incorporating them immediately and placing them and splicing them and placing them where they need to go.
I know how important it really is to have somebody that we can relate to and we can have access to. So I just want to reiterate that this is very, very important.
Because as this is a stance. Because we're standing firm and standing in our swag and saying this can't happen, point blank period. So we have to be able to hurry and get it done, but great, but get it done so that we can get it out there and promote it.
As new election reform laws are popping up in states across America, these artists gather to oppose the proposed Minnesota voter ID amendment. They are convinced it is a new method of voter suppression, and they are committed to spread the word to youth and future voters that voting is not a privilege, it is your right. This has been a BMA Look Inside Voting 2012.